Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 31st of March, comes to you from London. And we see quite a bit of red on the equity side on the screen this morning, so not looking so strong there. Commodities looking stronger, which is surprising really, because the dollar has been showing its strength, but we are just ticking down the last few hours on commodities, so on the dollar, so that might be just helping commodities short term. But looking at the charts, remembering this is my weekly, my daily, my 60-minute chart, long-term, medium-term and short-term view of the market, we see that dollar continuing to rise. So dollar strength is very much a key feature there. That means that the euro is weaker, and of course still a lot of attention on the COVID situation in Europe, and we'll look at the COVID charts at the end of this session. So the euro consistently weak, kicking up this morning, but not enough to change the trend, bearish in the medium and short-term charts, with downside potential against the dollar of some 1.5% lower probably. Looking at the Japanese yen, we see the dollar here breaking that 110 level quite convincingly. The first time it's done that in over a year, so that is a strong factor. And looking at sterling against the dollar, we are seesawing at the moment really around this 137 level, so that's quite key as well. The euro, we see here, sterling euro is fairly flat, although medium and longer term sterling has got the upper hand against the euro, so that's quite key. Bitcoin sitting at 57,900, so bullish on all three time frames, on the verge of deactivating these downside targets. That's what we need to watch for. A new short-term upside target 9% higher to $63,600, so keep an eye out for that. The S&P 500 index was down 1/3% yesterday, so that's quite key. Not really managing to break higher. This 4,000 levels just really looking like a push too far at the moment, although we do have medium-term targets and even some short-term ones pushing to those levels, but for the moment we're pausing for breadth. And the Nasdaq is nowhere near making its new all-time high, still in short-term bearish territory, so the February high hangs over us really. The futures this morning, we're seeing the S&P future down slightly, the Nasdaq future up slightly, so our call for today is that markets will open flat in the US. The VIX volatility is still below 20. It's up this morning, but hovering around this 20 level. Really anywhere between 19 and 23. That's the range on the fear index. Nothing much to worry about there at the moment. FTSE future is down 0.5%. The DAX in Germany, the cash market, little change, down very slightly. The same with the CAC Quarante. And we look in Asia, we saw Japan was down 1.4%. The Hang Seng down 0.7%. The Indian market down 1%, but it's still looking stellar on these medium and longer term charts. The Aussie market bucking the trend, up 0.75%, but still fairly flat for several months now. Taking a look at commodities, gold falling back to 1684. The key thing is, will we go lower than that low that we saw a few weeks ago? That's going to be the key. For the moment, we've got a downside target suggesting not much more downside pressure, but we do have this key support levels. Will we activate this downside target? That's the real issue there for gold. Stronger dollar not helping, of course. Silver sitting at $24, so it's now in medium-term bearish territory as well. And US 10-year yields sitting at 1.73% on the 10-year. Did pull back from as high as 1.78 yesterday, but the trend is very clearly up. And on the 30-year bond yield, we're at 2.4%. Again, we're at 2.45 at one stage yesterday. Taking a look at the energy mix, pretty much a sea of green this morning. Brent crude not managing to break the $65 level very convincingly. And if you look at the daily chart, still looking like a little bit of a turnaround there. So for the moment, this trend is broken. We found support on the cloud, but the fact that we're struggling to make new highs will be a factor. Seasonality is not great for crude oil as well, as we said in our crude oil report last week that went out to clients. Looking at US nat gas, that's sitting at 263, did nudge higher yesterday. We've got some good upside targets here on the chart, so it'll be interesting to see if we can move higher and activate that $1 to $3. Coal has pulled back a little bit this morning, but still looking pretty strong. Emissions up 1%, 42.55. Holding that 40 level, we did nudge below it very briefly, but that's looking pretty strong. Looking at MBP, we're up 2.5% this morning, just struggling to break this 49 level, and TTF is actually breaking that 19 level this morning, so that's looking pretty strong. Will we activate this upside target on the 1 minute chart? That's the thing to watch. Looking at German power, it's higher at 57 euros, not enough to break out of this range, but it is looking still pretty strong. Good upside target. Again, refer to our power report that we put out to clients a couple of weeks ago. Looking at the coronavirus stats now, Europe not looking good. This is cases. Germany still continuing to rise. France continuing to rise. We were nudging 600 cases per million in France versus 73 in the UK. So we're getting to a stage where we're 10 times higher in France, 3 times higher in Germany. So not looking good. We are seeing cases smoothing off in Bulgaria, so that's something that is better. Looking at the death rate, it's flat in Germany, has kicked up in France, which is a worry. And if we look at the UK, we're sitting at 0.82, so that's flattened off as well. It's decreasing returns now for the UK on that front, which seem to be just flattening off. Interestingly, if you look at Brazil, their death rate is running through the roof, just looking terrible, that wave there. No signs of any slowdown, so very serious situations still in many parts of the world. Looking at the vaccine stats, UK past 50%. A little bit worrying that we're seeing France and Germany just hovering now. News flow this morning there that AstraZeneca has been halted again. So that is just having a little bit of an impact, but the UK pushing above that 50% mark. So that's quite a success story for the UK. It would just be interesting to see how these charts all start to change in the weeks ahead. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.